All right. Hi, everyone. So just some things before we get started. Feel free as we go to put any questions that you have into the chat. I can answer them there for you at the end. And let's see, let me just check something real quick. Awesome. Okay. And then if you have any questions that you would like me to address at the end of the webinar, just put them in the questions section at the bottom. So you should see that little tab. It has a little question mark on it next to the chat box. All right. Okay, here we go. So I'd like to thank you so much for joining me today. So whether you've been with Share the Love since 2020 or you're just getting started, your feedback is helping us shape the future of the program. So today's changes are rooted in making Share the Love more impactful for pet owners, sustainable for our brand partners, and easier for both you and your staff to manage. So I wanted to start by sharing something personal. I began my career in pet retail, working at an independent pet store, just like many of you. In fact, around 90% of our team at Astro also got their start on the retail floor, helping pet parents face-to-face. That's why this program means so much to us. We understand firsthand what it's like to juggle customer service, product education, day-to-day operations, and we pull directly from these experiences when designing the Share the Love platform. We love that Sharing the Love helps connect pet parents with stores like yours, but we also know it needs to deliver value to everyone involved, the pet owner, the retailer, and the brand partner. Recently, we've seen some brand categories being over-redeemed, stores becoming frustrated with fraud or confusion, and bundle prep taking up more staff time than it should. These updates aren't about taking anything away. They're about preserving Sharing the Love and making sure it can continue to thrive and grow in a way that works better for everyone. And we're not making these changes blindly. We've been listening. Here's just one piece of retailer feedback that really stood out. We find almost every adopter has been store hopping for their adoption kits, and we rarely see them again. Any feature that would prevent store hopping would be really helpful. So on the bottom of all these slides, I'm going to include a direct comment that we received on the survey. So I assume that many of you attending here did fill out that survey. I'm not going to divulge any names of anyone, and we're going to keep it completely anonymous, but I just wanted everyone to kind of get an idea of where the thoughts were at. Alrighty. Okay, so the new 3.6. This is one of the most talked about changes. So instead of getting one of everything, a pet parent now chooses 3 items from the 6 available categories. This helps encourage real product interest and gives raw, supplement, and supply brands a fairer shot without getting over-redeemed just because they're the only option in the dropdown. Here's what one retailer said. It will make the process faster for our employees and also help us see what items the customers are actually interested in. Now, I'm not going to lie. This was a fair split down the middle. The majority of the people that commented, that gave us open-ended responses to this, were not in support of this. And I'm going to go through some of those areas of issue. Okay. All right. Oh, and I want you to notice too. So when you're building out that bundle, if you notice when you're still presented with all of the drop downs that are available based on how you're enrolled, you can go through, you can select items from something. If a customer does change your mind, you can unselect something and then choose something from another bundle. It'll just gray out anything above 3. All right, so let's go. All right, so perceived loss of value for pet parents. So reducing the number of items takes away value from customers and lessens the positive impact Share the Love has on new pet parents, especially those already facing high initial expenses. All right, so we completely understand how this might feel at first glance. But this change isn't about cutting value, it's about concentrating it. When pet owners choose items that genuinely interest them, they're more likely to use them, see results, and come back for more. That's where the true value lies, in products that become part of a pet's daily routine, not ones that get tossed aside or forgotten. A thoughtfully chosen trio of products has far more long-term impact than 6 products selected just because they were free. Another issue was a negative impact on brand and product trial. So customers won't choose premium or niche categories like raw or supplements if forced to narrow their selection, and those brands will suffer. So this is one of the key reasons we made this change. Under the previous model, items in smaller categories like raw and supplements were often redeemed by default, not desire, because they were the only option in that dropdown. This led to inflated redemption rates without meaningful follow-up. That hurts the brands. By encouraging pet parents to make intentional choices, we're giving raw and supplement brands a fairer chance to reach customers who are actually interested, which increases the likelihood of return sales and continued brand participation. That's going to increase the return on that brand's investment and see that the items that they're giving away for free are actually creating new customers. They're not just giving things away, if that makes sense. Mixed opinions on checkout efficiency. So the change may reduce steps, but increase confusion, creating more pressure on staff to guide or even choose items for customers. It's true. So there will be a learning curve, but over time, the simpler 3-6 model reduces bundle size, it clarifies staff expectations, and it minimizes item eligibility confusion. It also gives staff a natural opportunity to educate and connect, helping pet parents understand why they're selecting these 3 specific products. This becomes less about reading a menu and more about curating a recommendation, and that's where you all shine. Customer decision fatigue. Reducing options doesn't always reduce confusion. It may just shift more of the decision-making onto the store staff. And as someone who worked in retail for 3.5, 4 years, my favorite thing to do at the store was having these conversations, these nutrition consults. So that's exactly where you come in. Share the Love is most powerful when it's backed by your expertise. Customers may not know what they want, but they trust you. You already guide them through choosing the right formula, transitioning pets, or avoiding allergens. Now we're simply asking that you help them guide through 3 meaningful choices that could turn into lasting habits. This is a moment to build trust and education, not just to fill a bag. So when we designed this program initially, we envisioned it just like, we had a typical nutrition consult at our store. A new customer comes in, they ask for a product that we may or may not carry. If we don't carry it, that conversation shouldn't end there. It shouldn't just be like, oh, well, we don't have that. Sorry. It's an opportunity. You come out from behind the counter and you walk them over to your shelf of products and you show them the stuff that is either the most similar to what they were asking for, or maybe you tell them why you don't carry that specific product or that specific brand. And then you establish yourself as someone who has an exorbitant amount of knowledge, and you can learn something about that customer. And the best part of that is if at the end of that conversation, you can say, oh yeah, and by the way, because I see that you've adopted your pet within, the permissible period of time, I can actually give you this thing for free today. That's awesome. So it's the conversation first, the free stuff second. That's what I say. All right, so staff training and store operations. So this challenge disrupts established store processes and will require new signage, POS adjustments, and staff retraining. All right, we get it. This is a shift. And we're working hard to support you with updated materials and simplified workflows, including barcode scanning, improved forms, and clearer rules on eligibility. Our long-term goal is to make Share the Love easier to manage for both you and your staff without sacrificing the integrity of the program or the experience for your customers. And finally, the final issue that was had is emotional and community impact. So the Share the Love program is a point of pride. Reducing what's offered feels like a step backward in helping adopted pets and their families. Okay, we hear you. And we respect how much heart goes into every bundle you hand out. But please know, this change is designed to preserve, literally save Share the Love, not diminish it. Brands contribute products with the hope that their generosity will build loyalty, but that hasn't always been the result. If these brands don't see a return on their investment, they will leave. And we've already seen that happen, unfortunately. And if enough leave, Share the Love will end. I don't want that to happen. We've put way too much time and heart, and we love this program. This is a completely, we do not make any money on this program. It is 100% free for brands to participate in. It is 100% free for retailers to participate in. It is all about building connections. So this is our best attempt to save Share the Love by making every redemption more meaningful. It's not about giving less. It's about ensuring what we give helps pets live healthier lives, drives return visits, and brings new value to your store. All right, and I don't know if y'all remember this, and if it's my fault if these got kind of buried, but they do exist. There's links to this Canva template in the knowledge base. But yeah, I also want to take a moment to reintroduce these. So we made these Sharing the Love marketing materials last year to help promote your store's involvement in the program. So these templates were intentionally designed without referencing the number of items included in the bundle. Why? Because what's available at each store can vary based on inventory, participating brands, and which categories have programs available. For example, right now there's only one brand in the dog supply category and only 2 in the cat supply category. So some stores may only be able to offer bundles with up to 5 items in it, or even fewer. And that's completely okay. We've even debated eliminating some of these smaller categories due to lack of brand participation, but we believe it's more important to keep the platform diverse and instead foster healthy competition across all categories. That allows more brands to participate, creating a far more customizable experience for your customer. So our recommendation is to keep any handouts and signage that you create very general and focus on the value of the experience, not the quantity. So phrasing you can use is enjoy a selection of free full-size products for your pet, including premium pet foods, delicious treats, healthy supplements, and more. Simply show proof of your adoption at the register and we'll help you assemble an adoption bundle, especially for you and your pet. This way, you don't have to update materials every time something changes, and you have the flexibility to highlight what's available at your store while still staying aligned with the Share the Love platform. And some of the comments brought up a request to help give customers a way to review what items were eligible, what their choices entailed. And it's very true. This varies not so much by the program itself, but how you're enrolled and what inventory you carry along with the products that are part of that program. Just like any program in Astro, frequent buyer, Astro offers, you do not carry the entirety of the inventory that is permissible in a frequent buyer program. There's just too much. So we had a thought, like if you wanted to give your customers the option to review what is available beforehand, you can consider creating a landing page on your website that they can only access if they have the direct URL, which you can add to your handouts. That way you can edit details digitally without having to waste paper if things do change. All right, so redemption safeguards. So we think that this right here is going to be hopefully a big factor in saving this program. So we're adding stronger protections to prevent duplicate or fraudulent redemptions. So 1 bundle per species, per household, backed by a phone number, email, and adoption details. So this protects the integrity of Sharing the Love and makes sure bundles go to genuine adopters. Some of the feedback that we get We are seeing that people get an adoption package that never show up again at our store. A few years later, they return again for another package. I wish it wouldn't allow them another adoption package if they have no purchase history after. I love that whoever shared this because this is something that we hadn't considered. And if there is interest in something like this, we can, of course, explore it in the future because, again, somebody that's coming in and just getting a bundle every couple of years isn't exactly a new customer. So that's kind of the main thing that we want. We believe that in order for a pet to be happy and healthy, they need a support system in their local pet shop. So yeah, so if that's something that is interesting to y'all, we can explore that. So right now what this does is now initially we were going to limit one bundle per species per lifetime. You get one dog bundle and that is it. And our CEO especially was like, I don't know, I just can't do it. I can't do that because, many of us, we have multiple pets. We adopt. I have too many cats. That's not true. You never have too many cats, but you know what I mean. You bring another pet into your home. I do believe that you adopt again, you should be able to give that pet a bundle. So right now we're still keeping it to one bundle per species every 365 days minimum. So maximum, that's what you can get. All right. Okay, so we heard you loud and clear on this one. This was the big one that we were all just very hesitant with even doing. So both of my cats were found under porches. My childhood dog was abandoned on the side of the road. So I can say without hesitation, I absolutely believe these pets deserve bundles. We originally considered limiting Show the Love participation to only 501c3 adoptions, since these adoptions are the easiest to verify because they have paperwork. But your feedback reminded us that many real, deeply meaningful adoptions happen outside of a shelter or rescue system, and we don't want to exclude those families. So a retailer wrote, I found 2 of my dogs on the street. I might be offended if I didn't qualify for this program. So because of feedback like that, and because we understand that love doesn't always come with paperwork, we decided to roll back on that proposed change. That said, pets purchased from breeders will continue to be excluded, as they have been since the launch of Sharing the Love in 2020. So we have these rules more clearly defined, like what counts as a stray or a found pet, what counts as a rehomed pet. Those details will be right there on the form. So when you're looking at that form, if you need a reminder when selecting something from that drop-down menu saying, how was this pet adopted, you can just mouse over that little info icon and you can read those definitions for you. Now, if you feel this is unfair, if you have relationships with breeders in your area, there are other ways that you can reward pets that are acquired from breeders. We have, breeder frequent buyer programs. We have, you can work directly with brands that are interested in doing something for them. We want Share the Love to be about rewarding those that are adopting a pet that is 100% homeless. They are in need of home, and that's that. So. All right, so redemption safeguards. So we heard a lot of mixed feedback about texting. So we're meeting somewhere in the middle. The one-time welcome text, that will help you verify that phone number and avoid fraud. So what that means is, you're adding a new customer to the system. You don't have a relationship with them yet. They're brand new. You add them in. You create that, you send them in that welcome text. Their phone will ping. You could even say, like, okay, I'm adding you to the system. You're getting a welcome text. Let me know when you get it if you want to be super, super diligent about it. But our system will look and see if numbers are bounced. So, and that will just help to inform you, like, do you have a situation going on at your store that you just need to be aware of? And that's where that goes. So as for the promotional bounce back reminders, we're going to add an option for you to opt out of those. So let's say, for instance, you decide to enable that included bounce back coupon reminder text for your customers. And this update would probably not hit the platform until, somewhere, maybe mid 2026 is what we're thinking. We still have to work this out with the brands, but our goal right now is to have the brands fund this completely. So even if you do not have the marketing suite enabled, or if you do have the marketing suite enabled, these texts would not come out of your paid for credits. All right, so we would basically roll them into the redemption fees associated with these bounce back coupons. So just like any text that is sent SMS style, they can unsubscribe just by replying stop. Okay. And we're thinking that, these texts, if you have 3 items redeemed in a bundle, you would have, maybe up to 3 texts that's like, hey, here's a coupon that's available from this brand, that you chose for your bundle, that kind of thing. It would be in that pet voice. It would be personalized with their pet's name. And then they would have the initial welcome text in the beginning, and then a final text at the end of that 3 text series that would say, hey, these coupons are fit to expire, come by and get them. Okay, so they would receive a maximum of 5. Once that series is completed, there would be no more. That's it, period. And we may add text messaging to our other coupon system that we have within Astro. And this is just to help to build like customer awareness to it. Coupons, bounce back coupons, or manufactured sponsored coupons, they're not offers. They're not available to everybody. They're only available to these specific people because they redeemed an adoption bundle or they met some requirement from the brand. The act of you enrolling in a Sharing the Love Adoption Reward Program, it'll tell you whether there's a bounce back coupon associated with it. So you're consenting to that bounce back coupon when you enroll in that program. Right now, an email is already sent. There's one email that goes out that tells that customer that they have a coupon and the details of that coupon and that they have to go to your store to redeem it. The text messages would just be similar and hopefully get their attention better than these emails. So that's the gist of it right there. Of course, you are able to agree or not agree with whether they are sent or opt in or opt out of them. Okay. And it's just me doing this call. So I see that there's comments happening. I can't see them right now, but I will go through them at the very end, I promise. Okay, so bonus improvements. So we have barcode scanning right now in that bundle builder. And I'm realizing that not a lot of people knew that. Whoopsies, that's our bad. So we're adding a very clear button that can be clicked that would reveal that scanner bar that you can use to populate. So this should make that redemption process less error prone and less time consuming. All right, so you scan something, it will populate the dropdown that item is a part of, and you can scan those 3 items and it should work for you. So we're going to include this in the next rollout. All right, last bit before we open up this whole thing. So I can't stress this enough. At the heart of Sharing Love is a promise to help adopted pets and support local stores like yours. But the program only works if our brand partners see value too. These changes are how we keep that promise alive and literally save Sharing the Love. And, we have very strong analytics that, we're able to go through and see, okay, this person redeemed a bundle on this day. It consisted of these specific items. Did that customer come back and repurchase those items? How long did it take them to come back if they came back? That kind of thing. And it's not performing in the way that we hoped. So we have to make some changes here. We have to figure out like, okay, how can we get these people to come back? For one, we are working on, making those coupons far more enticing. So those bounce back coupons, those would be, $10 off your next bag, that kind of thing. It's not going to be, $2 off or $3 off. They're going to have more value. So yeah. All right. So questions and comments, because I promise you we're listening. I have read through that survey feedback multiple times. Let me go into my little chat thingy. There we go. Okay. All righty. Okay. So I appreciate those of you that are in support and they're like, okay, we'll do this. We'll see this. We care about this program. We want to keep it. I absolutely appreciate you. You guys are awesome. So I want to call attention to Victoria's comment in the beginning. I know you probably all saw this, but this is absolutely brilliant. Require a $10 minimum in-store purchase to receive a Sharing the Love bundle. That's awesome. I mean, and obviously, we are 100% with you and support you on making your own adjustments to this program. So the little, rules and things like, okay, they have to have adopted their pet within 90 days. If you feel that is too large of a window, do 30 days. That is absolutely fine. That 90 days is like a speed limit on the highway. Like, you can go under it. You just, can't go over it, that kind of thing. Breeders eligible for their own programs. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Victoria. Okay. So yeah, I mean so why is Share the Love just about rescued pets and not all pets that are brought into the home? I mean, okay, so like I said, 90% of us come from, that independent pet store background. We all have, strong relationships with, rescues and shelters in our area. I fostered for many years. For both rescues and shelters. That world is very close to our hearts, and we wanted to build a program that supported that. And that's what Share the Love is. It's not about excluding something. We want to give pets that are, had a hard time, their chance at having a good life. That's all. I love that this is working out for you, Victoria. Okay, I really like this idea. And we looked at it this way too, because it's like, okay, you have that person coming into their store, they're getting some free things today. That gives them the opportunity to, get additional stuff. Because, obviously if you're getting, dog food for your dog, you need a bowl to put it in, you need a leash to take them for a walk and stuff. So this is great because they need to get stuff anyway. Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. So I had a screenshot. I forgot to add it to this presentation. So, okay. So this is what it's going to look like. You make a pet owner account for somebody, or you have an existing pet owner account. So right now, when you're doing Share the Love, if you want to bring up that form, you just type in the word Astro Dog and your form will pop up. All right. If that customer already has a redemption somewhere else, let me see if I can actually, has a redemption somewhere else, then you will see a pop-up. Yeah, you'll see a pop-up that's going to show them. Here, let me see if I can show it to you real quick. There. All right, it's going to look something like this. All right, so instead of bringing up that form, you're going to see that they don't qualify, and you're going to see when they actually redeemed that bundle. Okay, so that's kind of for your own information. Now, I want to make this clear too. So it used to be per calendar year. So, if if they redeemed a bundle in December, technically speaking, they could come in January and get another one because the calendar year resets. Now we have it for, it's every 365 days. So it'll be, if people are trying to cheat the system, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to do that. All right. So, and again, this is to protect you. So that date is, for your eyes to know what's going on. You don't necessarily have to share that date with the customer, and you don't have to tell them that 365 rule. Okay. It is one of those things where it's like, it's almost better in this situation where it's like, if you offer it as, you adopt a pet, you get a bundle, and you kind of pull it out of your back pocket, they adopt a pet, like a couple of years later, and they come by and be like, hey, I adopted another pet. Is it cool if I get another? You're kind of pulling it out of your back pocket. That's like a little bonus. So, yeah. So what we're looking at is phone number, email address, and that pet owner ID. So if that phone number is associated with any pet owner account across all of Astro, it'll be flagged. If their email address is associated, it'll get flagged. If they change their phone number or their email address on their account, that pet owner ID will remain associated with those original emails, and it will get flagged. So it's just, it kills me because like, I don't want this whole thing to like ruin everything, but I'm hoping that this will kind of help. And yeah, Jesse, that's an awesome point. Yes, and that's why there's that's why we have breeder frequent buyer programs. So the breeder frequent buyer programs on Astro are published by brands to help basically get puppies acclimated on their food before they're even put into new homes. So that's the support system that Astro has to support breeders. Because, pets that are adopted from rescues and shelters don't necessarily have that support system, before they enter their pet home. They're in a situation where they're, being supported by the goodness of a 501c3 or by, donations and stuff like that. So this is the program that's for rescues. The breeders do have their own support system through Astro. We got questions. Gina, okay, so is this done from our POS system, or do we have to go to Astro Loyalty to fill this out? Why? Because there's things on that form, especially now that we're adding those little info bubbles and so forth, that are there to help you. Let me see if I can bring up somebody. I think I put Norman in here. Yes. So there's things on this particular form that you're, mousing over stuff that'll give you clarification. Like, what does this mean? Reminders must be within 90 days. This adoption date thing, you're selecting that adoption date there, and it's only going to go as far back as 90 days. So you can't actually select a date that is prior to that. Your pet name and details, this, contact information, they're consenting to SMS, they're going to get that welcome text sometime in the future. So there's, a lot of stuff here that we feel like it's helpful information for you to have while you're doing this. Oh, there's another question. Oh, gosh. Cassie, thank you. Okay. Yes. We have brands waiting for these changes to come into effect so that they can join. So that is very exciting. Because truth to God, so like the category supply, especially because there's such low participation in that category, supplements is a scary one too. Whenever a brand signs up on our current platform, we explain that to them. We tell them like, okay, the likelihood that you're going to be redeemed on an exorbitant amount of bundles is exceptionally high. And I just want you to factor that into you budgeting for this program, because they are budgeting for it. And sometimes they're just like, I don't know if I can do that. So they'll back down. And that was happening a lot. And it's a bummer, because we need to build these categories up with brands, but we also don't want to put somebody out there that's not prepared to kind of take one for the team, if you will. So yes, I can't say who they are yet, but on our survey, there were some brands that were requested specifically that were mentioned in some of the comments, and that's been shared with our team. So they're going to be poking them again to see if they would be interested. But yeah, we do have ones that are already signed up that are waiting. So yeah. Oh, another thing I wanted to bring up as well, just for that whole, that 3-6 rule thing. And it didn't really occur to me until I really sat down and thought about it. So, you have situations where, some stores, depending on your inventory or the brands that are participating, you're only able to offer, maybe 3 or 4 items within a particular bundle. And, if the store down the street is able to offer more than you, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're, offering a better experience than you are. So this other thing too is also to try to level that playing field. So, bundles are more consistent across the board with everyone. And I think everybody forgets, because again, we don't probably do the best job at talking about this, but small animals are a part of sharing the love. So rabbits, guinea pigs, rats, chinchillas. You can type in adopt rabbit instead of adopt dog, adopt guinea pig, I think adopt chinchilla, if you can spell it on a dime. But anyway, and there are some brands that are participating in those. And those are typically, that bundle only consists of one thing. And that's like a hay item, and sometimes there's a treat item for those guys too. So that's another thing, like reviews. I've only ever seen positive reviews from pet owners that, get things from Share the Love. And I don't know, if I was getting free things, I would be excited every time. One of my favorite things about Sharing the Love is just seeing, our people posting about it, like posting on your social media, like taking pictures of the pets when they come into your stores. It's so much fun, and it's so meaningful, and it just, I don't know, it's rewarding for, I think, everybody involved. I know the brands love to see it. We especially love to see it. I catch something on our feed when I'm going through our social media. I'll share it with our team internally, and they get all excited. It's the thing that brightens our day, and we absolutely, just for our own mental health joy, we can't lose this platform. We absolutely can't. We can't. It's too important. It means too much. So awesome. Cool, guys. All right. Well, I would be happy to hang out if y'all want me to hang out more, if y'all got places to be and puppies to give scratches to. I would 100% understand. If there aren't any more questions or comments or thoughts, concerns, yeah, we can call it a day. Thank you, Victoria. I really do appreciate you guys for being here. It really means a lot. Your feedback means a lot. It's extremely valuable. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cassie. Awesome. Thanks, y'all. Bye.